Hello chums and welcome to Story Corner. Today I'm going to do another ChatGPT battle style story where I will read my story and then I will read you ChatGPT's version of this story, or so I think. So this story is called The Reunion. Slantwise rainfall pelted Denise. Her fluorescent waterproof barely kept the dampness out. There was no hood, so her hair was saturated. She could feel a snaking wetness extending down her plait to wetten her back. She pushed a huge row of trolleys with a heft. Through gritted teeth, "Get in, you bastard!" She retreated to the canopy of the supermarket, grimacing as she looked across to the next trolley set, so far away. The taillights of a Range Rover Sport winked out ahead, and out stepped Charlene Ogden. "Oh, Christ," she thought. "Don't look, don't look, don't look." Up went a red golf umbrella, protecting her pristine blonde hair, tiger print Paco coat, and English Channel handbag. Denise let out her breath and relaxed as Charlene walked away from her. She had got away with it. But then she stopped quickly and turned. Denise drew in a sharp breath as their eyes met, the flicker of recognition. Then a cocked smile drew across Charlene's lips. Her clear enunciation purred, "Hello, Todger. Where are you off to in that bright Pacamac? A rave? You always were a wild child. So, what is this? Fancy dress?" Denise looked down. "It's what I have to wear, like, for work." Charlene chuckled. "Oh, you poor poppet. You have to work. My Gary does all that, You've probably seen him on Match of the Day. You're into football, aren't you?" "Oh yeah, I seen him." "Horrible game. Still, it pays the bills." Charlene collapsed her brolly under the cover of the supermarket. "Yeah, I better get back to work." "Oh yes, do that, my love. But do have a great day." Denise made another couple of trolley trips. Then, as she was about to reach the next batch, the heavens once again truly opened up. The rain was so hard that it was bouncing back upwards beneath her coat. She ran the last few meters to the trolley shelters and dived in. Resting against a trolley stack, she looked to the plastic roof, which was hammering out a thrash metal tune. "Fuck this." She loaded her mouth with a damp cigarette, clicked her fingers across the Zippo to get a flame, and held it under the cigarette for a good few seconds before it started to smoulder. She had to puff pretty hard before a few lonesome gassy wisps brought the relief of the toxic fumes. Her fraught, wired mind mellowed out as she watched a small rainbow rise from a van roof to the heavens. Beams of sunlight followed, steam rising from the asphalt under the glorious warmth. Denise still felt a little cold and sodden as she dropped her cigarette butt hissing into a nearby puddle. She drew her finger across the green mildew surface of the shelter and made an acid house-style happy face. "Ah, the sun after the rain. It wasn't too bad." She unlocked the row of trolleys and began the long shunt to the store. Before slotting the trolleys into the bay, she had to negotiate a small police car. The owners of the car came goose-stepping out, black uniforms with bulky stab vests squaring off their curved, firm female figures. They linked their arms with a third party to make a threesome that could be off on the night on the town. But the middle member of the group was not smiling. despondently searching the floor for her self-respect, locked in a spiral of humiliation. Denise looked at Charlene. Please God, look up, look up. Charlene complied, and as their eyes met, Denise struggled to suppress her delight. Off out anywhere nice? Fuck off! Oh, get you, with a chauffeur service. Ford Escort too. Must be nice not working for a living. And with a wink, Denise turned away as Charlene seethed, again losing her accent, her posh accent. You fucking bitch. As Denise clunked the trolleys into the bay, her supervisor came out, planted her hands on waist, and tried to figure out things. Denise nodded to the police car. Never could keep her hands to herself, that one. The supervisor frowned. You girl are puddled. Denise flashed a smile. Thanks, then whistled merrily as she skipped off. So that's my story. So what I told ChatGPT was, write a story about a supermarket trolley pusher who meets their school bully. Once upon a time, there was a young man named David who worked as a supermarket trolley pusher. He had been doing his job for a few months and found it to be a good way to earn some money while he looked for other opportunities. One day, while he was out gathering trolleys from the parking lot, he saw someone he never expected to see again. It was his school bully from years ago, Matt. David felt a wave of anxiety wash over him as he remembered the many afternoons he spent hiding from Matt in fear. But to his surprise, Matt didn't seem to recognize him at first. David decided to approach him, and with a shaky voice he said, Hey Matt, it's David. Do you remember me? Matt paused for a moment and then replied, Oh wow, David, it's been years. You work here now? David nodded nervously, unsure of how the conversation would go. To his amazement, Matt started talking to him like an old friend. He apologized for the way he treated David in school, saying he was going through some tough times and took it out on others. Matt even offered to buy David a drink after work, and David found himself agreeing as they hang on, this is a bit weird. As they two talk, yeah, good job. David learnt that Matt had hit rock bottom after high school, struggling with substance abuse and finding it hard to keep a job. But he had recently turned his life around and was working in a nearby factory. David admired Matt's courage to overcome his past and start anew. They ended up spending a few hours together, catching up on old times and sharing stories about their lives. In the end, David realized that sometimes the people who hurt us in the past can become the people we least expect to help us in the future. Meeting Matt again had given David a sense of closure and the chance to forgive him for what he had done. From that day on, they rekindled their friendship and worked together to make up for lost time. David had also learned to move on from the past and embrace the present as he pushed the trolleys back into the store. He knew that he had found something more than just a friend. He had found inner peace. Isn't that a nice story? It kind of ends very differently to my story. I like the differences between the two. The thing is, I notice about ChatGPT, it always wants to find the positive in every situation. And I think that's exactly what it's done there. And it took that naive trope of saying that bullies can become friends after a long time, which, I don't know, can they? I'm not really sure. I've not really experienced it, so I can't comment, but I imagine it's overplayed by that situation actually happening. I remember one lad who tried to bully me at school. He was a knob. He didn't bully me because he was pathetic. But I remember him being exactly the same. So he was a wannabe bully. He was exactly the same after school. I was age about 21. Exactly the same idiot. So, if that's anything to go by, they're no different. And they're still humongous jokes. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed those stories. And do drop it in any comments which one you think is the best. Personally, I think the ChatGPT is a bit naive, but at least it's got a positive ending to it for both characters, whereas mine was a bit negative. Also, one thing I do notice about ChatGPT is it's always picking male characters, where I've got to be honest, I am forcing myself to pick female characters because I'm always writing from a male perspective and writing male characters. So maybe some of that comes across even in the female characters. So I try and put female characters in there and challenge myself in that way to think in a different way. I hope you've enjoyed that, and I hope you have a most excellent day, and thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.